Perfect. And we are a go, ladies and gents. Welcome to our Sunday, but actually Monday, July 5th PSP meeting kickoff and workshop. We are excited to have you guys on here. It is an exciting time, probably the most exciting time, not only because we just coming off of a great holiday and 4th of July, and hopefully you got to spend some time with some friends and family this weekend. But what's even just as, if not more exciting, is that a week from today, 1 week from today, is the official start to the Super Bowl of our summer, our SC2 conference and SC2 push. And right now, everything we are doing is shaping up and building for the momentum that we are looking to gain between now and the start of the SC2 push. So we're excited to have you here. If today is your first time hopping on a Sunday PSP meeting or a paycheck meeting, today's gonna be a little bit different flow than typical, and you're gonna actually get a chance to hear from our guest speaker today, Mike, really give some good goods on how to increase the names and numbers that you have going into the push. We also have some people that are hopping on here today for Advanced Training 1. So if that's you today, you're hopping on here and you're gonna get a little chance to hop in with some of the people in the rest of the division here today, as well as have your own breakout specifically for your advanced training if you just started this past weekend. And then, of course, for all of my Alliance members that are hopping on here today, this is all about setting up and building the proper momentum between now and next Monday so that you're going into the push with 20 or more demos booked up in front of you and mentally set and prepared and, schedule orientation, whatever you need to get done between now and the push to have a great push. So before we go off into kicking off today, our names and numbers workshop, and then we'll have a little bit of a social hour to Loom promotion, and we'll dive into a phone jam. And at 8 p.m., at 7 p.m., there's a breakout specifically for our advanced trainees. So you'll hop on here if you're an AT1 from now until 6 p.m. We'll have some time for you to get some appointments, and then we'll have a special breakout for you at the end. Everybody else, most of y'all are on here from 5 to 6 p.m., and then we'll have the phone jam right afterwards so you can line up your appointments between now through really Wednesday and Thursday. So to kick things off, ladies and gents, a couple of things that you want to put down into your notes as we're getting started here for today. Number one, whether you're brand new to the team or you've already been set up and you've been PC'd and you're going to be a part of our elite group in our division, part of the 10K Alliance, all you want to focus on right now is two words, and that is build momentum. Build momentum. That is what this week is all about. In fact, we actually call this upcoming week Momentum Week because so much of sales, business, and life is a momentum game. And I can tell you, after being in Cutco for over a decade, seeing it from a manager level, seeing it from my own representative level when I was a manager, and watching so many people do it before, there's a lot to say about the people that start making the moves before the push begins, because they have that positive momentum versus some people that really wait to get started until that Monday, and they usually don't have that momentum until maybe week 2 or 3 of the push. And that's when a lot of the magic starts happening. So can you start to build some momentum now? When I think about building momentum between now and SC2, there's two things that I would write down in your notes. Number one is demos completed. How many demos can I get done? Can I get completed between now and next Monday? If you're doing more demos, you guys know the magic formula, MMC plus DMD equals MMM. And if you don't know that formula, it stands for make more calls, do more demos equals make more money. And the more appointments that you're completing, not only are you going to build some, number one, positive sales momentum for yourself, so that you actually have some sales confidence. You're able to take some of the learnings that we've had from our Tuesday kickoff meeting and all these workshops that we're doing and actually put it into practice. So you're not working on your skills once the push starts. You're sharpening your skills now so you have positive momentum going into it. The second thing that doing more appointments will do, and probably the bigger focus this week, is not on sales, but is on how many recommendations you're getting on every single presentation. If anything, I'd rather you go out there and barely sell anything on your appointments. But if you're gaining a lot of recommendations, you're going to be building a lot of positive momentum, having those fresh leads going into the push. The number that you want to write down, if you're on part of the Alliance, is 150 to 200 plus phone numbers is how many phone numbers you want to have going into the push. And if you're like, wow, that's a lot of phone numbers, well, today's workshop is really going to help you with that. And if you're already there, great. Can we get some more fresh leads to continue to building up towards that? If you're just starting the job and this is a Monday, you're like 150 phone numbers, that should pretty much be your goal as a representative. I would say is how fast can I get to 100 names and numbers? If I started the job with 20 or 30 names and numbers, can I make sure that my list is constantly expanding based on my own resources, but also the resources and recommendations from all the appointments that I've been completing? That list should always be expanding. And once you get to the 100, I call that the safe zone. That's when you really have enough names and numbers to be able to build a sustainable sales business. And until then, you're always building up until you get over that 100 mark and 100 threshold. So, number one way to build momentum is do more appointments, get more appointments completed this week, and have a recommendation focused on your appointments. And the Gunner chat, anytime that you're getting 20 or more recommendations on a demo, that is something that I'd be putting in that chat as a hot and positive update to build some push momentum, and we can continue to get some chatter in there. Second thing that I'd put down in your notes for today, number two, okay, is not just getting names and numbers from recommendations and demos completed, but it's tapping back into your own resources, really becoming resourceful and just getting more names and numbers from friends, from family, from social media, and from other sources across the board. And we'll teach you a little bit how to do that today, but can you get, another 10, 15, 20 names and numbers from mom and dad? Can you get some from your friends that maybe you reached out to the start of the job and, you never followed up with them, or, they never followed up with you, and reach back out and get that before this push? Can you reach out to some people on the chicken list that you never reached out to before because you were nervous or, didn't have enough confidence yet? Or maybe some people that you never even put down on your initial list that you've met in the past couple months. So we'll get expansive in there. But that's the two things: is can you add more names and numbers from your own resources, and can you continue to get recommendations by completing a lot of presentations over the next week between now and Monday? What I want to spend a little bit of time talking to you guys about right now is how to set up your schedule for success going into this week and going into the push. So if you're brand new, I'll give you guys a couple quick schedule mentality things and keys. But what I'm going to go ahead and do is forward into the group chat here. If you're in the Gunner chat or managers, you can forward this out to your respective teams. If you're on here, we will go ahead and send this out in 3, 2, 1. If you check the Gunner chat or managers, if you want to send it out to your respective team chats here, what was just sent in is let me pull it up, the schedule sheet. And if you click on that sheet, what it will pull up for you is the Cutco schedules that you can use. And this is an editable template that you can use for the next couple of weeks here, specifically this week. So, this is great for push planning if you're trying to really get dialed in and get ready to rock and roll for your own push. But if you're just starting the job this week, this is a good scheduled template to be able to use to appropriately navigate through the push and during this time period. So if you guys, all that matters for setup today is this one. But a lot of you all, if you're going to be in our local alliance planning session, and if you're part of the 10K Alliance, I'd encourage you to kind of go through this schedule and map out any specific agreements or any other schedule logistics that you need to have, so you have your own personal demo game plan going into your Wednesday Alliance sheet. So a couple quick things that I'll mention on the schedule, and then I'll give you also a couple quick minutes to set up your schedule before we turn things over to our ADVM, Mike and Bromwitz. First thing that I'll say about schedule, okay, is that if you're a brand new rep, and even if you've been around for a couple weeks, so much of this job, it comes down to your ability to schedule your own time. The reality is that this job is really great. It's very, very flexible. But one of the things I see a lot of people make when mistakes that I'd say when they become their own boss, right? Which is a kind of this hot thing in our culture today of like, I don't want to work for anyone. I want to be my own boss. And, you kind of can be your own boss here. You can kind of have autonomy over your own schedule and when you're working. But here's the big key: as human beings, we all need a schedule. We all need a schedule. There's a reason that, when people become their own boss, they oftentimes don't get a lot of things done. They oftentimes are stressed and overwhelmed. They oftentimes are running around too much and feel like they're always working. And that's because as human beings, and especially as young people and students, you need to have a schedule. The cool thing is that just you don't have to have your boss tell you what your schedule is. They don't say, hey, here's your schedule for the week. But if you're going to be your own boss, you need to say, hey, Andrew, here's your schedule for the week. This is what the schedule that you're working, and then really follow through with that. Otherwise, oftentimes you don't really get too far or actually end up accomplishing the goals that you want to have. So, I used to love this job because of the flexibility of it. But if you don't create your schedule the way that you want it to be created, then what's going to happen is you end up booking demos whenever you can book them. There's not an actual time. You're not offered 2 times and say, when are you available, Miss Jones? And your schedule is always being overrun by Mrs. Jones and what her schedule is. And that's going to make it turn into where it feels like you're working all the time. I did 3 demos of the day, but I did a 10 a.m., a 3 p.m., and a 7 p.m. Well, I only did 3 hours of work on that day, but it's going to feel like I'm working all day long. So getting a little bit more strategic about when is the time that you want to have off? When is the time that you are doing appointments and what's your appointment goal? And then making sure you just have the proper phone time allotted either on our Wednesday or Sunday slots or on some more excuse me, some morning phone time or around your own schedule that you have here too. So real quickly, if you guys want to check it open, I would go ahead and go to the sheet if you haven't done so already. And you're going to go to File, you're going to go to Make a Copy, and you're going to create a copy of your own schedule sheet here to get things kicked off and loaded. And I'll real quickly, as you guys are doing that, walk you through the schedule and a couple announcements for this upcoming week. Again, today we have our workshop from 5 to 7 for, people that are on right now. And then for advanced trainings, it's going to go till 8 o'clock with your breakout here too. If you haven't been invited to an SLDM yet, talk to your manager about how you could receive an invitation to that event with myself here tomorrow. And then, quick kind of guidelines, anything that's in yellow are our weekly mandatory meetings that we have each and every single week to kick off our team, which are just on Wednesdays, by the way, and then on Sundays. And then the other things you can see here, if it's got an orange mark, these are all optional invitational type events. And if you've never been to an optional or invitational workshop, again, it's your schedule. You make the decisions on what meetings you're going to go to and, what growth you want to have. But I always encourage people to go to those if you haven't. This is where you can make your time work better for you. And if you can improve your skill set in 30 minutes to an hour by 1%, 2%, 5%, 10%, well, that improves how much money you're making on every single presentation that you do moving forward, just by that investment of your time. So this is the schedule for the week. What you want to go ahead and do and take a quick minute to do is go ahead and block off anything that where you're not available, or maybe you just don't want to be doing appointments during that time. And you can talk to your respective manager if you want some tips or advice on specific scheduling. We won't have time for that in just this. When you have a one-on-one, that'd be a good time for them to do that. But I would always make sure, don't plan on working every single day. I'd always make sure that you have allocated time that's, you're taking off specifically. Now, maybe not during the push, right? But maybe during this time period and week. And then when you're working, work, right? If one appointment cancels, book 2 more. Make sure that time is actually used for working and productivity with the position and job. So take a couple minutes here real quickly, and you can kind of block off, let's say, Friday morning or Friday evening, I have a get together with my family and that starts at 5 o'clock. Well, then, this could be my last appointment and I could block off here. And I like to change that to a different color, and I'll put in, mom's birthday or whatever that might be, onto the actual schedule sheet. And that way I know how many total availabilities that I have for each and every single day. So we'll take a minute to do this. And after you've planned out your personal sessions at the end of at the bottom of each page, you can go ahead and map out your demo goals before you enter them into your Q app. And you can go down to the bottom of each daily goal and say, all right, my goal for today is I'm going to try to get one same day for Magic Monday. Keep in mind, the sales week this week continues on till Tuesday. So anything that you sell between today or tomorrow is going to end up on the official, not only on the sales report for the week, on our national standings tabs, and it's going to end up on your paychecks that are going to come out this upcoming week there too. So you can go ahead and add in whatever demos you want to get done and have that on the bottom, and it will automatically calculate your total demo goal for this upcoming week. Last few things that I want to share with schedule thoughts, and then I'll give you guys 2 minutes to kind of set things up, and then we'll turn things over to our ADVM Mike here. Last few thoughts on schedule. If you're a part of the alliance, okay, so much of the alliance is about, and the push is about setting up before you go into the push. So the biggest key between now and Sunday, outside of getting more names and numbers, is making sure that you show up on Sunday to our all-day phone jam at 3 o'clock with at least 10 or more appointments booked up already in front of you. And that way you can leave with 20 or more demos going into the push. But, it's unrealistic to set probably more than, you want to make sure you have at least 10 of those set up going into Sunday. And so, you can phone jam Friday night, you can phone jam Saturday morning, you can phone jam all day on Saturday, you can start the process on Thursday. Doesn't matter how you get them done or when you get them done, just matters that you're showing up with at least 10 demos or more to that upcoming Sunday workshop to kick off the push. And then the last thing that I'll say is this is for everybody, not just our Alliance members, but especially our Alliance members. this Wednesday for our phone jam kickoff that I'll kick off each and every single week, we're going to have a parents night. And so this is for you just as much as it is for the parents. But we're going to have a parents event. So if you are part of the Alliance, you got to get your parents there. And if you just started the job, I think it's always a good idea if you can get your parents in front of them. This is a very, very easy and quick meeting where they can get a chance to meet myself, meet our assistant division manager, meet some other parents of other past successful reps. Here's a little bit of feedback on what it is that you're doing and why it's so valuable for you and other young people like yourself during this time period. And I can just tell you what, from personal experience, having the support or lack thereof of your parents going into a push or just of the job in general can be game changing. And this meeting is really important. If you want to get more names and numbers from mom and dad, come to this, make sure they're at this meeting on Wednesday, because I guarantee they'll be a lot more tied in and excited to help you all. Like so many people we see every single year, we've even had some parents that, actually aren't too excited about the job. They come to a parents' night and then afterwards they're like, hey, Deanna, here's another 30 names and numbers. We want to really help and support you during this time, during this push. And even if it's not that, just having some people that are on your side rooting you on versus giving you a hard time while you're working hard can be a really big make or break or difference. So hopefully you've had some time to kind of go ahead and set your schedule. I'm going to give you guys I'll probably let people finalize the schedule during our social hour. So we'll give you guys some time to do that before we kick off into PSP meeting. And what I'll go ahead and do now is turn things over to our ADVM, Mike Abramowitz, who's going to be running a special workshop for us, which is so relevant if you just started the job this past weekend. This is really going to help set up and support you for the next couple of weeks and the rest of your career. And if you're on the Alliance, it's time to get focused and ready, because everything's going to come down to our execution of this and building up a big attack list so we can go into the push with a lot of demos. So without further ado, I'll turn things over to our ADVM, Mike Abramowitz. Thanks for leading us through this workshop here today, Mike.
My pleasure, man. Thanks for having me. I'm glad I'm able to do this for everybody. So everyone, if you could do me a favor real fast, and I want you to write down 200. I want you to write down 200 names. I don't care if you're a branch. I don't care if you're a new rep. And some of you may have watched some of the videos I sent out already, but I want you to write down 200 names. 200 names. And I want you to think about 200 names. I don't care if you're Lindsay Holstrom and haven't had an SC2 push for a couple summers, or if you're brand new and you are just started the job like Brianne and you're trying to figure some things out. I want you to think about 200 names. Like, what if you had 200 names of not just people that are like random, or 200 names of people that you've called over and over again. I want you to think, like, what if you had 200 names of people right now that that are like really easy scoop up type of appointments, real easy scoop up type of appointments, like people you could just introduce yourself to or reintroduce yourself to. And if you just like said your family name or just had a casual conversation with them, you can book up almost every single person you talk to, right? I just want you to imagine that for just one moment. 200 names of like, what is that actually worth to you? What would that bring you? And I just wanted to map this out if you didn't go through Mr. Dean Espigard's workshop with this, because 200 names, easy scoop up names. Like, again, I'm talking about easy scoop. It's like, some of you saw me do a demo with my accountant. That was an easy scoop up name. I just asked for the favor of the appointment. I got an appointment. Some of you guys saw me do an appointment with one of the guys I barter services with, who helps me with my personal branding. I just asked for the appointment. I got the appointment. Like, it's like, if you made 5 calls to these people, maybe even like 2 or 3 calls, you'll probably get an appointment, right? You will barely ever have someone say no, and they'll easily pick up the phone if you got in contact with them. That would give you 40 demos booked from 200 names. I want you to just think about that for a moment. Think about having 40 demos booked. So hypothetically, if you showed up on Sunday for the all-day call day that Mr. Andrew Evans just talked about, hypothetically, and we call it an all-day call day because some offices might do like a 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., and then there'll be like a break, and then it'll be like a 5 p.m. to a 9 p.m. And essentially what it is an all-day call day. Some offices might go straight shot from like noon to 5 and then from 6 to 9, right? But it's an all-day call day of sitting down and tackling the phones and making 200 calls in a day. Now, maybe you hear 200 calls in a day, you're like, holy shit, that's a lot. And maybe it is. But I just want you to think about more of the reason why someone might want to do that. Because if you had 200 names, let's say hypothetically, and you sat down and did one day of calling, okay, and let's say you booked up 40 appointments and you got 40 demos booked up with 200 easy names and you're ready to call, ready to book, what would that yield to you? I want you to just map this out. That would be about 24 orders, let's say. 24 orders. At 24 orders, that would be, with a $400 average order, that'd be almost 10 grand in CPO. So if you're brand new, that'd be $1,900 earned. If you're at 30%, that'd be almost 3 grand earned. And if you're at 50%, that'd be almost $5,000 earned. Now, if you're a branch manager listening to this, I want you to really think about how hard did you have to work for 5 grand this summer? If you're an assistant manager, I want you to think, how hard did you have to work for 5 grand this summer? If you're a brand new representative, think about how hard would you work for $2,000? So I want you to just think about this, where imagine for a moment on Sunday, when you showed up on Sunday, if you had 200 names and all you did was just show up with 200 names, and then you just ride around and call around and you just pick up your $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 paycheck. Now, if you show up with 199 names, you get nothing. But if you showed up with 200, could you have 200 names by Thursday, 6 p.m.? If I were to pay you $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, could you do it? Hit me up in the chat. Hit me up in the chat. Could you do it if you had the resources and you were going to get 3 grand, 4 grand, 5 grand handed to you if you found a way? So the workshop that I'm going to take you through right now is going to be how to think the right way and act the right way, where if you did do some of these things that I'm going to talk about, you can position yourself to have everything I just shared with you. Okay, so one of the things, the 2 things that we're going to talk about right now is we're going to talk about mindset, we're going to talk about skill set, okay? And I was just going to play the video for you because it's already a perfect video, but I already have some momentum, so I'm just going to actually run the workshop. I will tell you, you should watch the video. The video is really great, and it's going to fill in everything else that I might miss, but it's really spot on. So I'm going to talk about mindset and skill set. As far as mindset, the first mindset that I need everybody to have, and keep the chat going, by the way, I like the chat, it creates engagement, is risk versus reward. We talk about this in training. The only risk that you really have of reaching out to someone and asking them for an appointment or a favor is a little bit of your time and a little bit of your ego. That's the only thing you risk. You're risking a little time and a little ego. The ego if they say no, and time that it takes to actually reach out to them. So that's the risk. But what's the reward? Well, we just discussed $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. So the risk, oftentimes, the reward is worth the risk. The next mindset is rejection is not real. Rejection is not real. If you read any of my books, if you went through my training seminar, you know about my story about asking Rachel out on a date in 8th grade. And I never actually asked her out because I was too nervous to ask her out. And the moral of that story is that I was so scared of the no that I never was willing to risk asking for the yes. So the point is rejection is not real. If I'm just looking at some names, Alyssa King, I don't know Alyssa King, but I got a lead to believe that if Alyssa reached out to 200 people, and let's say she got rejected 190 times, 190 rejections, but 10 of them said, yes, here's my parents' number. Or 10 of them said, yes, here's an appointment. And she sold 10 ultimate sets on those 10 appointments and then got another 100 recommendations from those 10 appointments. Would we say Alyssa is a failure because she got rejected 190 times? Absolutely not. Because the only thing we focus on in business is how many times we succeed, not how many times we fail. So rejection's not real. In fact, rejection is necessary in order for you to see some level of success. So let's strengthen our relationship with rejection and not give it so much merit. It's just a no. It's not that big of a deal. It's not that big of a deal. Take away its power. Take away its power. The next one is no one's going to get mad at you for asking for a favor. No one's going to get mad at you for asking for a favor. If you were to knock on your neighbor's door and say, "Hey, I was gonna go to the store, but I figured I'd just ask, do you have a stick of butter by chance? I'm just baking this recipe and it would just take me a little bit too much time to run to the store. Do you have a stick of butter I could borrow by chance?" Like, that's asking someone for a favor. It's really simple to do. And no one's going to get mad at you. Can you imagine calling your 8th grade basketball coach from middle school saying, "Hey, coach, I actually have a favor to ask you. I know it's kind of random, but I'm trying to work towards a scholarship with him." And he's going to be like, "What? You haven't talked to me since 8th grade. You have a favor? How dare you?" Click. "Hey, Jane, can you believe these kids nowadays calling and asking for favors?" Huh, the audacity. Probably not. Probably not. It's not that big of a deal. As some of you kids might say, it's not that deep. No? Nobody? Maybe? All right. So no one's going to get mad at you for asking for a favor. So that's another mindset that we need to have shifted. Another mindset, be unattached from the outcomes. You got to be unattached from the outcomes. We say in training often that we focus on the activity that produces the results and who you become in the process. I would write that down. Focus on the activity that produces the results and who you become in the process. Focus on the activity that produces the results and who you become in the process, because the outcomes are irrelevant. If you get so caught up in the, "Oh my gosh, I got to pass the test," and you put all this pressure and all this anxiety builds up inside of us to pass the test, versus, "I just got to study these chapters." And you take it in bite-sized chunks. I got to study these chapters. I got to learn this. I got to focus on this. And then once you get to in front of the test, you focus on the test. So focus on what's in front of you and be completely unattached from those outcomes. Next, mindset. If you want to get a lot of recommendations, you need to get them from you first. You can never expect a customer to give you 100 recommendations if you have not given yourself 100 recommendations first, because that means you're going to have a presupposition. What is a presupposition? You're going to impose your own personal beliefs onto your customers indirectly by having a presupposition, where it's like, if you live in a place of scarcity of like, "I don't have that many people to call," then your customer, you're projecting that onto your customers that they don't have that many people to give you. So you want to have the mindset, "I have an abundance of recommendations. I have an abundance of people I can call. They flow to me in avalanches of people, and my customers just give me more." But you got to get that confidence and that mindset that you must get recommendations from you first. For example, if you had, how many teachers have you had growing up? Let's say you had an elementary school that was probably like 15, plus middle school is probably another 10, it's 25. In high school, you had probably another 15. So you had about 40 teachers in your lifetime on a lower end. You don't need to go see one teacher to get recommended to the other 39. You can go out and find those other 39 teachers on your own. And if you're willing to put in the effort to go find those people's phone numbers without having to wait for recommendations, and you're willing to create them, and think about it this way. Some of you guys say, "Oh, that's weird." Would you call them if you got recommended to them? So why wait if the answer to that question is yes? You can go out and create your own recommendations any point in time you want without waiting. So you must want to get them from you first. And lastly, is you want to ask with confidence. When you're asking for recommendations, you want to ask with confidence. So for example, if I'm asking my mom for recommendations or more introductions, if you're asking your best friend's mom, if I'm Jessica Shannon sitting down with my dad and knows that my dad has not given me recommendations from his place of work, I'm going to ask with confidence. I don't care if he rejected me 17 times. What did he say on the 18th time? Now, he didn't, but just hypothetically. On the 18th time, I'm going to still ask with confidence, because I don't have anything about the past. I don't think about the future. I'm just here in the present. So conversation might sound something like this. "Hey, Dad, I just wanted to share with you some of my goals I'm working towards during the next month. I actually have a chance to do this, 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 and this. In fact, this girl, Miranda McAllister, she ended up winning an All-American scholarship while she was doing my job as a branch manager, and I thought that'd be pretty cool to compete for it. Now, I don't know if I'll be able to win it or not, but I think it'd be really fun to compete for it, so I'm going to go for it. You know me, I'm an overachiever, and in order to do it, I mapped it out. I need 200 names and numbers before Sunday. I wanted to see if we could just go through your cell phone and see if there's 3 types of people in that phone: people that I know of, people who know of me, and people that you could introduce me to. And I just wanted to see how many of them might fit in one of those 3 categories, so that way I can fuel my push and get as close to the 200 numbers as possible." If you have that conversation with mom, dad, grandma, auntie, pretty much any mom or dad that you say I love you to, how many could that create for you? How many could that create for you? Maybe it's 10 from this one, 15 from this one, 20 from that one, but that could be a big slice of that 200 names. Could be a big slice of that 200 names. So before I go to skill set, before I transition to skill set, hit me up in the chat. What is something under the umbrella of mindset that you're like, you know what? I needed to hear that today. I needed to hear that today. What is something under the umbrella of mindset that you needed to hear today that you're saying, you know, shit, Mike, you were kind of spot on with that. That struck a chord, that hit home. I needed to hear that today. Go ahead and hit me up in the chat. Rejection's not real. Oh, wow, it's a lot of people blowing that one up. Okay, that's good. Ask for favors, be in touch from the outcomes. This is good. Coming from a place of scarcity, this is good. Risk versus reward. Did you guys like some of this mindset stuff? Do you like some of this mindset stuff? Good reminders. Just a shameless, selfless plug here, just for myself, a self plug, that if you want more mindset tools, you can join my email list. I have a newsletter, and I have an email that goes out on the regular with a bunch of mindset tools. And I have a blog that's under grab tomorrow and mikeabramowitz.com. If you wanted that resource, you could feel free to get it. It's free, and it can kind of give you some mindset tools that piggyback off of some of the stuff that you can use to feed your mind. If you don't want to read an entire book, but you wanted to get some emailed juice for you, you can feel free to subscribe and join the email list and get some of that stuff sent to you. All right, let's shift gears to skill set. Skill set. I have 4 tiers under the umbrella of skill set that I'm going to walk through with you that is 100% in your control. 100% in your control. Number 1 is going to be Q. All right, I'm going to go through Q. I'm going to go through some of the advanced Q setup. We're going to talk about finding more clients, leveraging Facebook, and I'll give you a couple of phone tips, and then I'll wrap up. So as far as Q goes, most of you, if not all of you, have watched your Q tutorial videos. That's not the part of this. The part of this is how many of you have went through and clicked import contacts, uploaded every one of your contacts from your phone, and then clicked on the brainstorm list and then went through and clicked the little text icon button to send the text message to every single friend that's in your cell phone. I'm not saying do that, but I am saying that if you did decide to do that, how many more phone numbers would you get? So let's say from what you learned so far, if you got like that 40 from the teachers and you got like another 40 from those loved ones, now you're up to 80 out of those 200. And let's say you have 100 contacts of friends in your phone and you went through and just hit that little button and sent it to all of them. Even if you got 190 rejections, but 10 gave you the mom's number, now you're even more. So if you played to win, that's a great tool that you have at your fingertips. Another tool is adding those contacts into Q. This is something that is kind of tedious, but every time you get referrals from My Vector Demo or from the Vector Impact app, you manually import them into your queue. That's easy. But the part that you might be missing is clicking the little star for your best bets or taking notes on those people as you import them. So for example, when you enter the recommendations into Q, if you put the stars next to your best bets, let's say you sold a signature set and you wanted to get, and she gave you 20 recommendations, and she said, these 5 are the best ones, and she set them all as heads up text messages, I would star those 5 because those are the ones you definitely want to call in your next phone jam. So if you use the star resource on Q, it will not only queue up your bet, it won't queue up everyone. You can have your stars organized so that way you call them first during your next phone jam. So organizing your queue by using your stars. You could also organize your queue not only by taking notes, but using the tag feature as well. There's also a tag feature on Q that you can use to tag all of your contacts. So that way you can use this tag feature here, where let's say if you wanted to tag different time zones or Cutco owners, you could use the tag feature. So you're only calling like, this would be really helpful for some of you. Let's say you have some different time zones. Let's say it's 11 p.m. at night here and you're like, fuck, I could watch Netflix, or I have a list of 15 people that live in California or Washington State. It's only 8 p.m. their time. Boom, I could hit the phones at 11 o'clock at night and book up and call those 15 people and book up 2 or 3 extra appointments because my queue is organized by Western time zones. So by having that organized, you could position yourself to win. You could position yourself to win. So using your tags on your queue can be really helpful for you. Also, any of the callbacks, booked appointments, all that stuff. So organizing your queue could be really helpful. My next part here is finding more clients. So finding more clients. There's this document that I created probably circa 2015, and I've been updating it since. And this document is something that you can revisit and go back to as often as you'd like. But one of the things on here, these thought joggers at the top, but see these helpful resources. If you watch Dane Espegard's video, he shows you how you can go to Google Maps. Ready? Some of y'all never heard this. I know my people never heard this because I just learned this from Dane earlier today when I watched his video. You go to Google Maps and go to your neighborhood that you live in, or your parents' neighborhood, or any neighborhood that you've lived in before and you're connected to. You search the address, and then you can click on every one of those houses that are right near that address. And then you take their address and post it into whitepages.com and reverse look up the address, and it'll show you the person's name and their phone number. Now there's an option where you could buy a premium membership. It's like $20 a month on whitepages.com, where you'll give you their cell phone number too, assuming they're on public record. And you can create your own neighborhood directory of contacts. Now it's not something that's going to give you like 100 people, but it might give you another 10 or 15. So now we get like 40, 50 from here. We get another 30 or 40 from here. We get another 10 or 20 from there. We get another 15 from there. That's how we're building up that list of 200 prospects. So that's a great resource. The sticky note approach, writing these handwritten, not typed, handwritten notes, and you putting them on some of your neighbors' doors. Not their mailbox, but their neighbor's door. And you say, hey, I live up the street at blank address. I'm a student from blank high school, and I want to see if you can do me a favor. Stop by, no one's home. If you could call or text me at this number, it'd be greatly appreciated. So that could be a great idea. I've had several representatives have a lot of good success with putting these sticky notes on neighbors' doors. The next one is emails to your past teachers. So emails to teachers. This is a great simple thing that you could do, especially in this climate where everything's virtual. A lot of teachers are typically checking their emails a little bit more regularly. Now it's in the middle of summer time, so maybe they might, but maybe they might not. I don't know. But it's advertising, so maybe you can get 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 teachers using that as a resource. So those are a couple of ideas that are on here. Other ideas that are on that document, and you can feel free to pull it up, is going to be Facebook and social media. A couple other resources on there. One of your homework assignments that I'm going to give you, though, the most important assignment that you could do, is going through your resources that you have and being resourceful. Because success in business and success in life, in my opinion, is very rarely about resources. It's typically about resourcefulness. So it's all about resourcefulness. Are you willing to do what it takes to get these extra clients? Are you willing to do what it takes for that $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000? Some of you have to, just have to negotiate with yourself to really understand that the juice is worth the squeeze. Other ways to get more phone numbers is going to be recommendations. Now, I'm not going to go through this today because tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m., we have a workshop on advanced recommendations. However, that is another way for you to get more names and phone numbers, is getting recommendations from your appointments that you do. It'd be crazy for you to think that, all this hard work to get those 200 names on your own, it just stops there. That's not the case. All the work that it takes for you to get those 200 names and those 40 demos booked, then from those 40 demos, the mission is to turn those 40 demos into another 200 names or more. And you keep that thing rolling. This is a Cut Go Through College plan. When I graduated from Cut Go Through College, I had 7,000 recommendations in my binders. 7,000. That's how I paid my way through school. It wasn't like I was always, plenish and reload and drop and reload and always having. No, that's not the case. You continue to build once you get it right and you do it well and you're able to sustain it. So I'm going to go over the recommendations. We have that workshop tomorrow, so I'm not going to spend time on that. The next part of finding more clients is leveraging Facebook. Now, as far as leveraging Facebook, there's a couple of things that you need to keep in mind when using Facebook to create more demos. Number one, you must have a good profile set up. A good profile might look something like this. It has a photo where we can see your face, and a photo that shows that you're, either with people or a team or your family, something like that. That's a good profile setup. That you work at Vector Marketing or Cutco Cutlery, what high school you went to, what city you live in, your school that you're attending, what you're studying. This is an example of a really good profile setup. So you want to have your profile set up. The next thing is you want to make sure that you're getting posts and tags. So what that means is anytime someone puts something up on Facebook for you, they're tagging you and other people in their post. Some of you just need to get some posts put up on Facebook. Holy shit. If you are not doing this, like, all right, let me stop, look, and listen here. I need every one of you, if nothing else happens from this workshop, I'm talking to you. Yeah, you, Miracle. Talking to you. You need to find 5 to 10 moms that will put up a Facebook post for you all at the same time. You ever see Fire Festival? There's something about the algorithms that when everyone posts something and tags you, it's all at the exact same time, and they tag other people, the algorithms are going to make sure it pops up on multiple people's newsfeed all at the same time. So you want to essentially have a social media blitz on Facebook with 5 to 10 moms. It could be your customers you did appointments with or didn't do appointments with. I don't care. You get this put up at the exact same time. My opinion, I would get this done on like Friday, because at the end of the week on Friday, people are typically looking at social media, especially around lunchtime on Friday. More people are going to be looking at social media because they're already checking out of work and figuring out what their weekend plans are, and they start disengaging a little bit. So I would say if you could get this done on like a Friday, that could be a really great idea for you. And you get all these moms to post it up on Facebook, and you put a picture of you, and they tag a bunch of people. They tag you, and they tag like 30 or 40 of their friends. Maybe if it's 5 or 10, maybe it's only 2, but you have them tag. Okay, what do they? So you gotta. This is in this document. You have them tag you. This is what they post. It's very simple. They tag you. Really, really easy to do. You got to start there. If you have not been doing that, you've got to get that done. The next is sending messages. Okay, as far as sending messages go, once you get somebody to post something up for you, it's a very easy ask for you to ask to send them messages, send messages to their friends. So once mom puts something on Facebook, it's like, hey, by the way, can I message some of your friends as well? Is that cool, just introducing myself? Yeah, it's fine. Cool, thanks. So this is my brother, Robert, and he has 733 friends. He's a prime Mac customer. He's like 50 years old. He has 2 teenage boys, the dual income household. So mutual friends, there's high school, current city, hometown. So I can see all of his friends. So I click on current city. I could see all of his friends because he has a public profile. I can add his friends, then I can message his friends, I can comment on one of their posts, and I can like one of their posts too. And by doing this, I could do 50 of these a day. Anything more than that is going to get flagged for spam. Anything less than that is fine. You could do 20 or 25, but I think 50 a day is a really good number for you to do. And this is the message you send. Hey, David, this is Micah Bremwitz. I'm actually Robert Kramer's brother. I'm over at USF here in Florida as an engineering student. The company I'm working for offers scholarship to help pay for school. My assignment set up appointments. Very simple. Bam. So in this document that I sent to you that you'll have access to, it gives you the approaches of what to say and what to use. So by getting posts put up and also targeting and sending messages, this is an easy way for you to scoop up. Again, how many names and numbers are you going to get? Maybe you get 20 or 30 from Facebook. So maybe you're getting 20 or 30 from Facebook, some from the teachers, some from those moms, some from the directory, some from the neighborhood search. Then you have referrals on top of it. You build up this list of 200 names. And that way you can go around and just sit in your computer and do appointments and collect your check. Next is be actively posting. So you want to be actively posting on your Facebook. I know many of you post on Instagram and Snap and stuff. You want to post some things on your Facebook. It could be Cutco related. It could be non-Cutco related. But just make sure it looks like you have an active account. I would encourage you to take photos of Zoom photos of every time someone does an appointment with you. And it's like, smile, let's take a photo. I'm going to put it on Facebook, right? And you could start creating your own social media marketing campaign. And lastly is join mom groups. Join mom groups on Facebook. So if you're like, I would encourage, this is Jessica, she posted that she sold a kitchen from a mom group. So you don't want to post in the mom group. You just want to join the mom group. And then you want to ask someone to post in that mom group for you and tag you in it. Because if you're not in the group, they can't tag you. So if you join a couple of the mom groups and then you can ask someone who's in the mom group to post something for you, that's going to be your best bet. The easiest in there is going to be to ask any of your customers, hey, are you in any mom groups on Facebook? Do you think you would accept me into the group, and then maybe like you could tag me in a post, right? So that's a really good idea. It's a great idea to use some social media to your advantage. So those are a couple of things as far as leveraging Facebook. Now, as far as other social media platforms, another really good platform is LinkedIn. Now, LinkedIn, though, is a professional platform. Facebook is more of a social platform. So with LinkedIn, you totally can do it. The strategy you might want to modify just a smidge, because it is more of a professional platform. So you're going to want to really you want to have your profile look good. You want to have it all set up, but make sure it's more of a business focus oriented, not necessarily personal focus oriented. So I don't have that much evidence and a ton of evidence on LinkedIn, but I do think it's worthy of at least utilizing that resource if you have it for sure as a professional network. So what did we talk about? We talked about the mindset. We talked about risk versus reward. Rejection's not real. We talked about some of the mindset things. We talked a little bit about some of the skill set things. I'll wrap up with some phone tips. Okay. And as far as phone tips, there's something called the Phone Jam Toolbox. You got to make sure that when you are sitting down to make your phone calls, you have your toolbox ready to go. You have your phone approach ready to roll. You have your schedule mapped out. You have your queue updated with your goal. You queued up your best list. And the attitude of 60 per 5, maybe you've heard of that, maybe you haven't. What that means is 60 seconds per dial, 5 minutes per phone call. So 60 seconds per dial, 5 minutes per phone call. So what that means is I would encourage you to play a song, like queue up your Spotify. Maybe you find like a 5-minute song and you see how long it takes for you to listen to the 5 minutes of that song, because realistically, you should not be able to get through a 5-minute phone call during a phone jam, a 5-minute song during a phone jam, because you could only get through maybe 4 or 5 seconds at a time because you're calling the next one real fast. So it keeps you 60 seconds per call or 60 seconds per dial, 5 minutes per call, no gaps, no gaps. And if you can get through an entire 5-minute song, you're doing your phone jam wrong. So that's, I would position you, set yourself in a position for that attitude of like, I can't even get through a 5-minute song because I'm dialing the next call every single time. As far as a powerful intro, these are a couple of simple phone tips to help you create more appointments. Sound like they're expecting my call and they already know me. Hey, Miss Jones, this is Mike Abramowitz. You want to like give them a plethora of examples. Like, this is Mike Abramowitz. I'm friends with Jane, her husband, Harold. Yeah, their kids are Derek and Susan. Yeah, I actually used to play baseball with Derek. How are you? Good. Yeah, my mom is Eleanor. I don't know if you know me or my family or not, but I was actually chatting with the Hogans, and they said you might be nice enough to help me out with something I'm working on. Do you have a quick second for me? That powerful intro, sounding like they're expecting a call from me, sound like someone they want to meet, establish control by asking a question, and that rapport of commonality, that is a powerful intro. That is how you go into every phone call. Every phone call has a powerful intro. The next is urgency. You read the script and you have a goal. It's like, I normally wouldn't ask this, but I'm kind of in a pickle. I told my manager I was going to have 4 appointments for tomorrow, and right now I only have 3. Is there any way you could squeeze me in for a quick appointment on day at time, or would time be better for you? I told my manager I was going to have 5 appointments before Saturday, and right now I'm only at 2. Is there any way you could squeeze me in before Saturday? It would really help me out a ton. You got to have a level of urgency. Also, as far as if they ask you a question or objection, you don't just fold up like a chair and be like, okay, bye. You interrupt their pattern. What do I mean by interrupting their pattern? You could do one of these few things: tell a joke, or thank them. So for example, oh, sweetie, can you call me back next Friday? Absolutely, Miss Jones. I would love to do that. Thank you so much for agreeing to help me out. And I know my mom said you were nice, but she didn't say you were this nice. It would be amazing if we could schedule a time right now, just pencil it in to confirm. I know you said call you back Friday. What time on Friday would you want me to call you back? Friday noon? Let me look. I actually have a Friday at noon in my schedule open. So instead of calling you at Friday noon, could we do the appointment at Friday at noon? It would really mean the world to me. This is something that we want to train you to be confident on how to handle objections, And lastly, firm up. Thank them, write it down, reconfirm, think again. Thank them, write it down, reconfirm, think again. And you firm up every one of your appointments that you do. And that, obviously, this isn't a phone skills workshop, but we will have several of these. So your action steps, leaving my Getting More Names and Numbers workshop. Update your queue. Update your queue using the tags, sending all the text to your friends, update the notes section along with the stars, set up your Facebook, send your messages, get Facebook targets to put up the post for you, and make sure you're role playing your phone approach so that way you actually sound good when you show up on the all day call day. Because remember, if you show up to the all day call day with 200 names ready to rock and roll, you're positioning yourself for $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 income check because of the work that you put in on that first Sunday going into your push. And I'm super excited to have all those of you that are on the Alliance. I'm super pumped to be able to serve you and support you and help you have as much success as possible. If you have not joined the Alliance yet and you got value from this workshop, oh baby, you ain't seen nothing yet. You ain't seen nothing yet. You imagine getting this shit every morning to start your day. How many of you guys feel like if you got this type of stuff every morning to start your day, you would sell more Cutco, you would run a better business, you would lead a better life? Then you should show up and join the freaking Alliance and let's go. Let's do this thing. So what I want to do is let's go ahead and debrief real quick. I want to debrief before we go into our next segment. What were some things that showed up for you? Raise your hand. Hit me up in the chat. In fact, go to your WhatsApp group. I want you to blow up the WhatsApp group chat. Your team chat with any of your biggest takeaways. And I want to hear from maybe 3 or 4 people. So co-host, if you could help me spotlight a few people who are really proactive in the chat, who had some really good takeaways, who had some profound takeaways, who was really engaged. Hey, let me bring up a couple of people to the stage. So that way I can get some feedback from some people and see what showed up for them. So real quick, hit us up in WhatsApp with some things that you liked, and who had some takeaways of some things that helped. That you felt like really showed up for you. So let's bring up a couple of people, to the stage here. Looks like a couple of people getting added. So what were some things that showed up for you that you needed to hear today? That you're like, you know what, that was really helpful. I appreciate that. Thanks for sharing. That was really good. I needed to hear that today. It looks like a couple of people are joining. So let's go Elizabeth, and we'll go Miracle. And then anybody else, what was 1 or 2 things that you heard today that you're like, you know what, that's going to help me with my push, that's going to help me with my July, and that's going to help me today?
Join mom groups because my mom was in a whole bunch of like Facebook groups, and now I know that like I can go into those groups. I am in a few already, but I was not thinking about that whatsoever. I wasn't thinking about LinkedIn. I have an account from a long time ago that I still haven't used. So definitely bringing that back up, updating it, using it some more, and to make those Facebook posts.
Love it. Mom groups, mom posts, LinkedIn. Yeah. Great. Thanks, Elizabeth. Appreciate that. Let's go Miracle and then Sheridan.
Definitely take Facebook as an advantage since a lot of parents aren't going to use Instagram or Snapchat. Facebook would definitely be a way to go.
Great. Excellent. Simple. Thank you. Let's go Sheridan.
Yeah. So I was going to say, taking advantage of like neighbors and really like getting through your neighborhood with the sticky notes and making sure that you're getting the word out there.
Great. Excellent. Cool. Let's go to, we'll go Asia and then we'll go Azalee. I can't hear you if you're talking. I cannot. Let's go to Azalee and then we'll come back to Asia.
So what I really took away was the whole attitude 60 out of 5 thing, like 60 seconds for dial, 5 minutes for phone call. I feel like that would help me a lot more because I feel like I'm going through it like completely wrong when I'm on the phone jams and all of that.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just it's not as efficient. So that's good. I agree. Thanks, Aisley. Aisley, you got the working? Can I hear
Yeah,
you?
you hear me better now?
I hear you now.
Yeah. Okay. One thing that stood out for me was organizing queue a little bit more. So when you put in numbers and such, you add tags to them and you go in and you make sure you categorize it by how you're going to plan it out. So then when you do the calls, you're more organized.
Yeah, excellent. Very much organize that queue, especially when you have 200 names. You want to make sure you're reaching out to your best bets and you have it organized for you. Nice. Let's go Amari and then Brienne, and then it looks like that would be all. And then I'll tie a bow on this segment before we go to the next one.
Okay. What I really liked was taking advantage of like asking your teachers, because even like in my middle school, I've asked a couple of them, but I know I can ask a lot more. And even the high school that I go to now, I can still ask them because I know they will be willing to help me out. So
Yeah. Yeah. There's always more. I love that. Love that. Thanks, Amari. And then Brienne.
One thing can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. So one thing I like that what you said was when they want to end the conversation off really quickly, say a quick thank you or say, hey, I have this appointment free instead of talking to you on Friday, because rejection is, I mean, it is what it is, but if you can figure out a way to still create a good face with that and still have your goal at the end of the day, instead of just like hanging up and wasting some of your time.
It's great. It's true. But by the way, Brian, that was a really big, that was a subtlety that I added in, but I'm glad you caught that because, you know, at the very end, it's like, oh, you want me to call you back? So instead of playing phone tag, if you know you're available Friday at noon, let's just schedule the appointment for that. If you know you're going to be available instead of me calling you back at that time, right? So that way you're not playing the phone tag. It's easier for you. It's easier for them. So that's a pretty advanced alliance move that we will teach you during the push. But I mean, for a rookie, for you to be able to catch that's pretty good. You know, Brian, you should definitely talk to myself or your manager or someone about the alliance, because if you like some of that stuff, we absolutely unleash every single morning. There's going to be workshops like this. There's boot camps like this every single morning. And then a couple of times a week, we have some guest speakers that are going to be coming in. If you like this, if you got value from this, the alliance is going to be a great place for you to get the circle of influence of other people that are learning just like you, the positive pressure of someone that's pressing you forward to be better at your job, and the high level coaching of somebody that's above you, constantly supporting you and encouraging you and challenging you to do a really good job for your push. And if you feel like that would be something that benefits you, Brienne, or anybody else that's on here, I recommend you got to talk to your manager before Wednesday morning, because Wednesday morning is our planning session. And that's where we're going to pretty much finalize everything. And after that, I know for me, I won't be adding any more alliance members after Wednesday, because then we're going right into the weekend before the push. So thanks, Brienne. Thank you, everybody who was participating, and snaps for all of you. Hopefully you got some value from this conversation. So what I want to do is we're going to transition into what is called a power hour. And a power hour is where we do two things, okay? The power hour is where we do two things. The first thing we do during power hour is we do some social media work. We'll do some social media advertising. The second thing we do during power hour is where you'll do some planning and phoning, okay? So planning and phoning along with some social, for some social media as well. So first and foremost, I just want to say thank you, all of you, for all the work that you put forward so far with helping us build our team. By a show of hands, how many of you actually heard about the position from a friend? How many of you guys heard about it from a friend or saw us on social media or something like that? It looks like a majority of people, right? Majority of people are sharing. So I just wanted to start off by saying thank you for helping us build the team and having a great organization here with the Game Changer organization and in our Florida Coast division as well. So I just want to say I appreciate that. And I just want to recognize that, because I know we bribed you. You know, we're trying to get you to win the trip to Tulum, and we gave you all these cool things. But at the same time, we also need your help, because we are constantly building. Like, I wouldn't be Mike Abramowitz, and I'm sure Andrew Evans could say the same thing. He wouldn't be Andrew Evans if we are always just satisfied with where we are. We are a growing organization. We're constantly evolving. We're looking to promote more managers so that way we could take on more new representatives. See, we have two choices. We could just stay stagnant with where we are, and then we don't promote more people, or we can continue to promote more managers and then continue to add more people. As a growing organization, that's obviously what we do. So some of you on here might be excited about advancement. That's why we have a team builder program. So if you can be a part of helping us build our team large, then you might be able to be a part of coaching those new reps or leading those new people that we bring onto the team. We only promote from within. So if you get really good at the job and you also bring more people onto the organization, you could open up some advancement opportunities for you. Because fact is, your coach is probably not going to be your coach next year. Your coach is probably going to get promoted to run their own business next summer. So their job is up for grabs. So something to keep in mind, that we are growing, we're evolving, and we appreciate all the help that you're giving us to building our team. So one of the things that we do every single week, when we meet up, we do what is called a triple threat. A triple threat is where we'll post it on the main social media sources. You got Instagram, you got Snapchat, you got TikTok, right? You just put a post up there and just let the world know that your office that you're working with is hiring. See, we do this every week because circumstances change. We never know who's needing a job. We never know, what the situation is. Oftentimes, especially your age demographic, they have a conversation with their mom. Mom says, hey, you need to go get a job, get off the couch. Or they have a conversation with their boss and their boss is being a jerk. And they're like, my boss sucks, man. I wish there was another job out there that could work. Sometimes it's like they got in a car accident and they need to repair the car. And, there's so many different circumstances as to why someone might be looking at that exact moment. Maybe they're just bored and they're like scrolling and watching Netflix. They're like, gosh, man, what can I do for the next few weeks before school starts back up? Because getting high and drunk and playing video games and chasing out the girls and stuff, or guys, is kind of getting old. Maybe they just need a better environment for themselves before school starts back up. I don't know what the circumstance is, but here's what I do know. The month of July for our business is really, really booming, and we want to add more people to our offices for the month of July. So we want your help to advertise. Literally, I'm talking a 2 to 4 week work program for your friends. 2 to 4 weeks. That's it. They could work 2 to 4 weeks during our push to help us win this push, to help us rock July. And then they could be done around their family vacations or whatever they do. Your friends could literally work for a week, 2, 3, 4 weeks, make a couple $1,000, and then go on their way. And what that does for you, it shows that you're a team builder helping us build our team, and they also benefit, and the business benefits as well. So we're going to ask you to put something up advertising that for us. So if you're brand new, y'all are still in your fast start, we're going to give you a little incentive. If you're brand new, we're going to give you $1,000 credit towards your fast start contest for any of your friends that start this week. So if we hire any of your friends and they start this week, we'll give you an extra $1,000 credit. So if you get to, let's say, $3,000 on your sales and you have 3 friends on the team, boom, we're going to buy you the butcher knife, chef knife, petite carver, turning fork, stainless steel knife, traditional cheese knife, German spatula spreader, and the super shears for those extra friends that you recruit to the team, just to say, hey, thanks. So we have 2 things we're going to do. Step number 1 is either a heads up or a 3-way text. Now, I know many of you have already done this in your training. So if you did, maybe there's a few others. Maybe there's a few others that you could send a heads up text message to, and I'll copy and paste this into the chat just so you have it. For those of you that have been here for a little while and you've done this many times over, maybe you could send a text saying like, hey, do you know anyone? I know I messaged you before, but do you know anyone who might be looking? My boss is hiring right now. You could do the 3-way text message, something like this. I'll send this out to you, something like that. Tampa, you always want to use a Tampa Team Builder hotline. So something along those lines, that might be an idea for you. But maybe you can send a couple of heads up text messages, a couple 3-way text messages for us. The next thing we do during social hour is we'll do a post. And a post might look something like this on your story, some along this line. This is social media advertising. You could get real creative and create something like this. You could take a selfie, which simply like, yo, if you're 17 plus, swipe up. We have a new position we're filling. You could take a selfie, something like this, like, hey guys, my new job has a few openings, something along those lines. You could even turn it into like a little GIF video, mojo video. You could put music to it, all that stuff. You could do that if you want. I really like this one, real simple. This is another one that you could use, a little video. All your managers have these. You could use them, and you could get creative. You could use your own. You could create your own. It's really endless as to what you want to put up. I like, the text job to the phone number your manager gives you. For Tampa, this is our phone number. This is probably my favorite one because it shows the team. This was us taking over Glory Days. You just put a photo in there, text job this number, the starting pay, our website's on there. I really like this one a lot. And if you post on Instagram, you tag, if you're in the Tampa organization, you tag your office at Bay Area Game Changers for us. Maybe it's the Miami Spartans if you're in Miami, but you just tag your office and you put up this post on your story. And here's what happens. You just put this up on your story and you're going to get people that become interested. They're going to be like, what is that? What is that all about? When they do, you just get their number, give it to your manager, and your manager will set them up. Remember, Tulum, all you need is 6 friends. 6, and you go for free. All-inclusive trip. 6. So you never know. You never know what the circumstance is. You never know what you're doing for a friend. That's why we always put up the post, just to put it out there, just to see. So just to recap, and then again, we're going to give you, we always do this every week. We do social hour with everyone. So you put up a post. So what did we say? We said, if you're brand new, you're going to get an extra $1,000 credit towards your Fast Start contest. All you're going to do, post something. I think a selfie, you literally could take a selfie with the Zoom right now and be like, just another day at work, snap, right? Just another day at the office. And it's like 55 other people on Zoom working from home. My job is awesome. $20 starting pay. Swipe up if you're interested. Like super simple. It doesn't have to be fancy. It could be like we call them snap ads. You could be like an actual ad or an advertisement, but it could be something just as simple as, here's the information. If you're interested, swipe up or text job to this phone number. The next thing we do is during social hour is the Snap Direct messaging. The Snap Direct messaging is where you can literally create something that looks something like this, and you send this, click, 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 and you could send 200 snaps in under 2 minutes. 200 snaps in under 2 minutes. I'll show you exactly what it looks like. It looks like this. You pick a photo that you're most excited about, that you feel like that's what you're connected to. You download it to your phone. So you download the image to your phone. You open up your Snapchat. I'm like the old guy's going to teach you how to use Snapchat. I'm just showing you, right? Then you click edit video, so that we can kind of crop it to fit the right way. You click the little paper clip, and you put the address or the email or the website. Ours in Tampa, you would put bayareagamechangers.com. bayareagamechangers.com/snap is what you would use for us. But you just ask your office, what is the website. You click the little paper clip, so that way it shows that it's a swipe up. You have a little swipe up on there too, and you click the little button that says send, and then you put it to your story. But then you click, 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 click. Send this to literally 200 people in 2 minutes, real fast. One of the things that I like to do is put a little text in the text box that says, hey, could you do me a favor? My job is hiring, and I offered to help spread the word about the openings. It's a student work program with solid pay, ability to work from home. Would you mind helping by sharing this photo and the website to your story and tagging, you could tag me, and you could also check out the website if you're interested. That's called a snap ad. So you could put the little text in the text box while you send the snap address, and you could click, 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 and you could send that to 200 people in 2 minutes real fast. If you want to have a manager do this with you in Tampa, my office, I give you $25 if you wanted to do it with a manager to help field all the responses for you. So you can change your password to like a Tampa 123 password. You can hop on Zoom with the manager. The manager can field all the responses for you, and then you could change the password back, just so that way you're not blown up with having to handle all the responses, because you will get blown up with a ton of responses, but all of the managers can handle them for you, so you don't have to worry about it. And we'll actually give you $25 to do it for advertising dollars that we would have spent anyway. So we call those snap ads. So what we're going to do during the social hour is during the power hour planning, we got the social hour with the snap ads. We could put some Snap Direct messages. You put it on your story. You put your manager in a couple heads up text messages or 3-way text messages, and just go through your phone. Just go through your phone, do a little Snap advertising, little social media advertising during social hour. So while you're doing your social hour, once you're done with your social hour, I should say, then you can do your power hour. And the power hour is where you are updating your prospects in your queue. You're evaluating your schedule, like Mr. Andrew Evans talked about. You're putting your schedule together. You start hitting the phones to book up those appointments. That's what you're doing during your power hour, during your social hour. So that's what I got. That's my segment. Let's go into activity. We'll put on some music. We'll jam out for 20 minutes or so, 20, 30 minutes of just doing some social hour and power hour. And every time you get someone that is interested or someone who's looking for a job, just put them in a three-way text with your manager. Every time you put up a social media post. And Andrew, what do you think? Do we want to make this interesting? Give them a little bribe?
You can do a little bribe.
Cool. Why don't we give a little bribe, a little incentive? Here's what we do: a raffle. I'll throw in, I don't know. Well, what do you want to do? 25 bucks?
Yeah, I'll throw another 25 bucks. We'll do a $50 raffle.
50 bucks. You want to do 2 25s or 150?
What do you mean?
We'll do 150. It's easier to do. All right. So $150 winner. Okay. And how you get in the raffle? How do you get in the raffle? Here's what we're going to do. Most of you would have done this for free. Brian was like, I would have done this shit for free, but we're going to hook you up just to do it now. We'll give you a little bribe to do it now versus waiting till later. So here's how it's going to work. Every one heads up text or three-way text message you do, every one heads up text or three-way text message you do, we'll give you a raffle ticket. So if you do like 3 three-way text messages and 2 heads up text messages, that would be 5 raffle tickets. We'll also do every post, every story post will be another raffle ticket. So if you put a story post on your Instagram, your Snapchat, your Facebook, your TikTok, there'll be 4. So that's 4 other raffle tickets. And then what we'll do is every 25 snaps that you do will be another raffle ticket. So every 25 snap messages is a raffle ticket. Every heads up or three-way text message is a raffle ticket. And every story post will be a raffle ticket. And we'll give away 50 bucks just to say, hey, let's do it now during the next 20 minutes versus waiting till later. Does that sound good? Simple?
Let's do it.
All right. And then you'll just let us know. Now, granted, there's a little bit of honor system here. So your manager will need to verify. So all you're going to do is just take like screenshots and stuff and send it to your coach and send it to your manager that you actually did it. And then here in the chat, you'll post, how many total raffles did you earn? So we'll do that raffle at 6:45. So we got 30 minutes. We'll do 30 minutes of doing some social hour. 30 minutes of social hour. Now, if you don't want to be involved in the social media for some weird reason, start working on your power hour and hitting the phones and doing your calls. But most of you, I mean, to get a chance at Tulum, to get the fast start credit plus raffle and 50 bucks, it's a no-brainer. So, and plus you help the team and help yourself. Sound good? Thumbs up. We good? All right, everybody. So let's take 30 minutes to make this happen. I'll stop the recording there.